Here we go. One step at a time, don't be living.
I guess for math, it sort of has evolved, but I'm really used to studying for math. Never really felt the need to after doing homework until this year. But really, what helps me the most is just doing problems over and over when I don't understand it. It helps me just be more prepared and more calm, so when I go to take the actual test, I'm not freaking out.
It's making me nervous.
I started realizing that when I said go home and study, a lot of kids have no idea what that means, and it means a lot of different things to other students. So if you, and the research has been done that if you want to do well, not only is you need to put in the amount of time, but you need to put in the time well. So I would say if kids can shoot for studying on their own really rigorously for about 8 hours a week for a hard class, and then get together with friends a couple times and share those ideas, that's very, very, very powerful. It's not just about looking at your notes. You can't just stare at a notebook and stare at a question and somehow think it's going to get in your brain. You have to practice. So I think, first of all, students and teachers actually underestimate how much practice is necessary for mastery. So, even though you've done a problem or a type of problem 5, 10 times, even 20 times, it's probably not enough for real mastery of it. So one thing I learned in college is just, not only did I do all the even problems, I would do all the odds also, or vice versa. So it was a process of doing 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 problems until I really had a feel for the core. When you actually take the time to study well, and you actually get why things are the way they are, why the relationships are the way they are, it's very empowering. And I think it's just a wonderful feeling when you come out of a math test and you understood all the concepts, you know that you were able to do what was asked of you, and you do it at a very high level. I think it's a lot of confidence develops, as well as you'll do well in that class. And since math is sort of the basis for all the sciences, it really leads to success in science classes. Well, it means first of all having a plan. I think recognizing where you are, where you want to get to, and realizing that it's usually not enough just to sort of be in class and pay attention. I mean, that's a huge part of it. Starting out is sort of just kind of paying attention and being there in class and being present. But I think the next step is sort of like having a big plan. So when am I going to be studying? Especially in college, when you don't have your parents creating structures for you or the schools creating structures for you. So how are you going to be responsible for scheduling in for yourself? On Tuesday afternoons, I'm going to study for 2 hours in the library, and then on Wednesdays at this time, I'm going to get together with a friend of mine and we're going to go over some of those problems. And then on this day, I'm going to do this. I think having a plan is so important.
It's making me nervous.
One of the most important things you can do to help yourself study more effectively is to find a good study place. There's so many different factors that can go into a different study, and there's so many different places that you can try studying. I would recommend trying as many places as possible to find the one that works best for you. Some of the places that commonly make good study places are libraries, parks, coffee shops, and really anywhere else you can think of where you have the necessary resources to study properly. Some of the things that I like to look for in a study place are access to food, because the first time you get hungry, if you have to leave to go get food, then that's not going to be a very productive study space. A good temperature so you're not either too hot or too cold. Wi-Fi access, electrical outlets so you can charge your computer if you're watching Khan Academy videos to do your homework. And there's other things that you should look for too. But what makes a good study place is really up to the individual. The next thing you can do to help you study better is that when you don't understand a topic, if your teacher's not there, you need to find your own ways to research the topic. I like to use Khan Academy videos to re-explain topics to me, and MIT open course videos for a more intense, in-depth, and longer lecture that would be similar to one that my teacher would give me. And you can also Google your subject, because a lot of times there will be examples and practice problems that are there as resources for students of how to study certain topics. And you can also read in the front of every chapter in your textbook is normally an explanation of the subject. So I would recommend reading that, because a lot of times it will give you helpful tips and hints and also show you more practice problems. And in between trying each of these, I would recommend doing some practice problems from whatever homework you're working on that week to make sure that you don't already understand the subject, because if you understand it after one, then there's no reason to go back and continue to try other different research techniques. Taking good notes is really important in understanding certain subjects, because if you try to go back to that subject, your notes are really going to be what is able to remind you of how to do whatever subject it is that you're studying. And if you took poor notes and you can't understand your own notes, then they're really not going to be of much use to you. But good notes can help you understand any number of problems on a certain subject. So the things that I like to do to make good notes is make sure that you write the subject of the lecture as the title of your notes. And then label all your examples so that you can see where an example starts and where an example ends. And I also like to box or highlight all different formulas, because I think that they are points of reference that I go back to fairly often, so I want to do it quickly. And I also like to rewrite my notes, because I find that I will go back and I will still sort of understand the subject if I rewrite my notes about 2 days after the lecture, and I will remember most of the topic, but I will be able to tell if my notes are confusing me and I won't remember exactly why I wrote what, so I'll be able to rewrite it in a way that I can go back and do it in the future. The last study technique I like to use is to annotate my examples. If you're having a certain subject that you're having particular trouble on, I like to go through and I like to choose the hardest practice problem that I can find. And a lot of times I have to do this with a friend because I might not understand the subject enough, even with my notes right there, to annotate my example. And next to each step of the problem, I write what I'm doing, so general overview, such as simplify by subtracting all the x's from the problem. And that will help me when I go back to do other problems, because I'll be able to go through and be like, what was my first step, and find the steps and try to correlate them to the problem that I'm doing at the time.
One of the study techniques that I use a lot is getting tutoring. We all know that private tutoring can be expensive, and your friends and family might not always be able to help you. But the San Diego Public Library offers free online tutoring to all library card holders. So if you go to the San Diego Public Library website, you will see a link at the top of the page that says, "Got homework? We've got help." Go ahead and click that link. It will take you to a page called the Homework Help Center. The first resource available is this free online tutoring called Help Now, powered by BrainFuse. So go ahead and click on the logo that says Help Now. The first time that you go to this page, it will ask you for your library card number, but after that it should save it for a while. There are many services available on this page, however, most of them require you to be a member except for the Live Help. So go ahead and click on the Live Help link. It will take you to this page that says Enter your grade. So since I am a senior, I am going to enter 12th grade. Then you can see there are a ton of different subjects available. There is science, math, English, and social studies. And then each of them are broken down into different classes like geometry and algebra. Once you choose your class, you will be redirected to the tutoring page.